We Beat the Streets by the Three Doctors.
Chapter 1 by Jalen Kelly. Samson, age 6. I'm going with you. 6-year-old Samson Davis boldly told his big brother, Andre. Samson, with gold, honey skin, large eyes, with long lashes and dark curly hair, stood with his feet spread apart and his arms folded across his chest, daring his brother to challenge him. He had learned early and took an act tough, especially with the older boys his brother hung around with. No, man, you too little. You be cramping my style, Andre replied. I don't care. I'm going anyway. Besides, Mom says you gotta watch me today, Samson said, knowing that when their mother said something, she meant business. Both boys knew better than to disobey their mother. She did her best to keep her children in line and had been known to use both broom and belt on them when they broke their rules. Samson also knew his brother hated them for him to tag along with the bigger boys. Andre was 10 and his own set of friends from the neighborhood. Well, just keep your mouth shut and don't do nothing. Stupid, Andre warned. Me and my boys got business to take care of. He swaggered a little, making sure his brother noticed. Samson grinned and ran quickly to join them on the sidewalk. Samson and Andre and his friends liked to pretend to be tough, but not all of them. It was pretending. Kids learned early in the area around Dayton Street projects, walking with an air of being in control was often necessary for survival. You hear Pee-wee had a beat up last night, Andre asked his friend Leslie as they walked down the street. Yeah, man. He had it coming to him. You don't take money from the bomb and not get tightened up. He's lucky he ain't dead. Samson listened carefully, saying nothing, but take it all in, confident he could handle the knowledge of activities of boys much older than he. He didn't think it was unusual at all to be discussing fights and drug deals and muggings. That's just how the world around him functioned. There was no alternative to compare it to. His stomach sometimes tightened with a mixture of fear and excitement, but he didn't let the older boys know it. The group walked down Dayton Street in Newark, New Jersey, that summer afternoon, laughing, cussing, and spitting on the sidewalk just to show that his little brother, a bit of turf belonged to him. They had no particular destination in mind and ended up in a small grassy park not far from the projects. As Samson walked with the older boys, he gloried in the warmth of the lazy afternoon sun. Look at how they keep this place, Andre said with disgust of his voice full of fifth-grade authority. The park was filled with broken glass, balled-up potato chip bags, beer bottles, and other bits of trash. Trash bins all bent up and full of garbage. No wonder nobody comes here. Yeah, look at this mess, Samson said, sounding like a smaller version of his big brother. How's somebody supposed to sit on these park benches? All falling over and broke. The concrete frames, titled and no longer braced in the dirt, wobbled easily when the boys tried to sit them straight. The green wooden slats that made up the benches, seats back-lay, strewn in the grass. Let's fix these benches, one of Andre's friends said suddenly. We'll be like construction workers. How are we gonna do that? Samson asked, intrigued at the game. Easy, man, Andre replied enthusiastically. We got all the parts. All we gotta do is put them back together. The boys picked up some of the trash and then began to stack the green wooden slats so they could attempt to reassemble one of the benches. Andre grabbed a heavy concrete slab and lifted it with a great deal of difficulty. He called out to his little brother, "Yo, Samson, hold this straight, man." The stone slab was a lot heavier than Samson thought it would be. He tried to steady it. He trembled a little bit from weight, but refused to give up. He felt like it was him against a piece of rock, and he was determined to be stronger. And then concrete that day. He held it as straight as he could, hoping they would get the wood lined up quickly. "You making it wiggle, Samson." "No, I'm not. I got it," Samson responded through gritted teeth. The slab tilted over more. Sweat ran from Samson's head. His hands were wet with perspiration, which made the piece of concrete harder to hold. "Come on, man. Hold on," Andre said. "We doing the hard work. All you got to do is sit here and hold it steady." Samson had no chance to answer. For all that movement, all 200 pounds of concrete slab fell forward and landed directly on his foot. At first he didn't cry out, but then the pain grew from dull surprise, fury, and intensity. "My foot!" he screamed. He clenched his face so that the older boys could not see his tears. But finally he didn't care. He let the tears and screams escape. Dark red blood stained his sneaker and dusty dirt bent beneath it. That's when he knew it was bad. "Mom's gonna kill me." Andre cried with fear and worry. "Help me get this thing off of my foot," he called to his friends. It took fourth graders to lift concrete off of Samson's foot. Samson looked up at his big brother and at the bright summer sky that seemed so far above him. He felt dizzy. "It hurts, Andre," he said softly. "Tight it up, man. It's just a little bruise. We gonna get you home now," Andre said, his voice alternating between terror and toughness. He and Leslie pulled Samson up from the ground. "You can walk, man." Samson put one foot down, then tried the other. He cringed, cried out, then slumped back against his brother. "I can't," he said, shaking his head. Samson took several deep breaths. Poured off his face. Sweat poured off his face. Andre looked at Leslie. The rest of the boys had somehow disappeared. "We gotta carry him, man." Leslie nodded and carried him home down the same street, which house seemed even hotter. They got to the house, looked around for moms, then gently set Samson down on the couch. Leslie left quickly, knowing to get out of the way of anybody's angry mother. Samson placed his injured foot on the sofa pillow. Blood seeped through and stained it dark red. "We gotta tell Mom," Samson declared. "I can't hide this blood very long." "She gonna kill us both," Andre said. "You first," Samson teased, even though the pain was beginning to intensify now that he was sitting still. Their mother, Rahina Davis, came down the steps, then carried a broom to sweep the living room. She took one glance at the boys, a blood and guilty expression on their faces, and lit into Andre with the broom. "I told you to keep an eye on your brother," she yelled at as the broomstick connected with his butt, at least when she could catch him. "What are you doing?" To almost squish his foot. "You have lost your mind," she screamed, enraged, chasing Andre with the broom. Samson said nothing, trying not to let how much it hurt. Andre finally ran upstairs. Mom took a closer look at Samson's foot. "And you," she said to him, "what on earth are you thinking? You should know better. We gotta get you to the doctor, boy, before you bleed to death all over my sofa. Lord have mercy, what are you all gonna get next into it?" At the emergency room, both Beth Israel Hospital, dozens of people sat in chairs, small waiting room. Even though his foot throbbed like a lightning and thunder, Samson was fascinated with the place. The energetic and constantly moving nurses, The doctors who seemed so distant and self-assured, the people on the chairs, some patient and hopeful, some obviously in distress. Since his foot still bleeding and had begun to swell, Samson was called back to the examination room sooner than some of the others who had lesser injuries or illness. A tall doctor in a white coat pulled back a thin curtain and walked boldly into the tiny cubicle. He glanced at the chart and looked directly at Samson's bloody foot. "Can you fix it, doctor?" Samson's mother asked immediately. "We're going to do our best, ma'am. Let's see what we have here." The doctor took a stethoscope from around his neck and listened to Sam's heart and lungs. He looked in his mouth and ears with a small flashlight. Sam thought that was pretty stupid. It was clear that the doctor didn't know what he was doing, but he was in too much pain to say anything. "How did you hurt your foot, son?" The doctor accidentally, not sure whether he was more afraid than his mother, who would still probably be punishing him, or this doctor, who obviously didn't know the difference between a chest and foot. Samson mumbled, "A rock fell down when I was playing." "Pretty big rock," said the doctor replied. Samson said nothing but watched fascinated as the doctor carefully removed his shoe and sock, both sticky with blood. His foot looked like something from a monster movie, swollen and bloody. The doctor picked up his leg gently, touched the areas that hurt the most, then placed it back in the examining table. "I'm pretty sure you have got a broken foot, son. You won't be running any races or going to the swimming pool anytime soon." "You mean he's gonna be laid up all summer?" Samson's mother asked with a sigh. "He'll be out of the cast and as good as new by the time school starts." The doctor replied with a smile, dismayed at the thought of missing all the fun and freedom of summer. Samson secretly cursed the concrete on his foot. "So what are you going to do?" Samson asked the doctor. "First we got an x-ray. That means we have to take a picture of the bones in your foot and see exactly where it is broken, and I'll let you see the picture." "For real? You can see the inside of my foot?" "Yes, I can see the inside of the foot, soft muscle tissue with this kind of picture." "Cool," Samson replied with very much pain but fascinated with the process. An attendant took him down to the x-ray room where they laid him on another table. The room was darkened and a large machine which whirred softly but moved above his foot. Samson felt nothing, but it was amazing. The magic seemed to surround him. When he was returned to the examining room, he waited patiently for the doctor to come back with the pictures. The doctor came in, smiled, and said, "You've managed to break some bones in your foot, my young friend. You want to see?" Samson watched as the doctor placed the films of his foot on a lighted panel on the wall. The inside of a small foot appeared with bones of 5 toes, 5 longer bones segments, and every other bony structure he couldn't identify. He could clearly see the cracks that didn't seem to belong there. "Everything is so even and neat," Samson said, marveling at the picture, except for the one broken part. The doctor, seemingly impressed by the boy's observation and pointing out the bones of the foot, even named them for him. Samson could have looked at the films for hours, but the doctor was busy and had other patients to see. He clicked off the screen and the room returned to normal. "How do you fix something like that?" Samson asked the doctor. "You don't have to cut off my foot, do you?" The doctor laughed. "No, sir. We will have to position your foot so that the bones go back together correctly. Then to make sure that the foot stays still and bones grow right, we will put your foot in a cast." Samson had seen casts on people before. He always secretly wanted one because the kids who got it got lots of attention and other kids got to write on them. "Cool," he said to the doctor. "I want the light blue one." When Samson arrived back home, instead of being punished, he ended up being a center of attention. He got to stay in his mother's room and watch her television. Best of all, he was served dinner every night, and he didn't have to do any chores. As the summer progressed, the pain subsided, the cast got dirty, and the time school started, the cast was off, and he was back running with his friends. He forgot about the adventure in the emergency room that summer almost.